Welcome to the Disney vs. Battles, a series focusing on characters from the Disney universe, analyzing their combat skills and abilities in a side-by-side comparison to determine who would win in a hypothetical battle. Today's matchup will be Scar, the villainous ruler of the Pride Lands, versus Shere, the vicious lord of the jungle. For this battle, I will be observing both combatants during the events of their first appearance. For Scar, this will be during the end of The Lion King. For Shere, this will be near the climax of the Jungle Book. In order to further my scope of analysis, I will also be using information found in The Lion Guard, Return of the Roar, and the Jungle Book 2. I will not be using anything from a video game or any other non-canon sources. With all that out the way, let's begin.
Born as the second Prince of Pride Rock, Scar was the younger sibling of Mufasa and ruler of the Outlands. In his youth, Scar became the leader of the Lion Guard, a team of animals who protect the Pride Lands and defend the Circle of Life. As a central figure in his group, Scar possessed an ability known as the Roar of the Elders, a powerful roar that causes the great kings of the past to synchronize their voices and growl with him in concert. During his final years of service, Scar met a strange lion who claimed to possess wisdom and power, offering him a chance to conquer Mufasa's kingdom in order to rule the Pride Lands as tyrants. Despite his bold assertion, Scar became intrigued by his offer and agreed to join forces with the mysterious feline. Not long after the pair strike a deal, Scar is betrayed by his unknown accomplice and suffers a venomous bite to the face. After receiving a mild form of disfigurement, the prince decimates the vile traitor. Although Scar managed to defeat the renegade lion, he did not receive praise for his actions and was mocked by his brother. Due to his covetous nature, Scar became enthralled by his lust for power, believing he should be king of the Pride Lands. As a result, Scar planned to overthrow Mufasa's kingdom. However, when his colleagues refused to assist him in his quest, Scar annihilates them with his roar and ultimately loses his powers.
After the birth of his nephew Simba, Scar remained jealous of his brother and failed to attend the lion's presentation. Due to his absence at the ceremony, Mufasa chastises the villain for his insolence. As the king continued to scold the fallen prince, he warns Scar not to turn his back on him, to which he replies, "Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me." After this encounter, Scar manipulates Simba with reverse psychology and attempts to have the cub murdered. However, the plan ultimately fails when Mufasa rescues the young prince. Once he discovers the fate of Simba, Scar enlists the aid of 3 hyenas and offers them an endless supply of food to eliminate the obstacles in his path. After Scar lures Simba into a trap, the trio manage to scare a large herd of wildebeests and subsequently cause a stampede. As the prince began to fear for his life, Scar informs the king of the current situation. Although Mufasa was able to rescue Simba from his plight, Scar betrays his brother by throwing him off the edge of a cliff. After Mufasa's death, Scar became a ruthless tyrant, ruling the Pride Lands through malice and oppression. In the following years, Scar denounced the laws created by his brother and caused a massive decline in their resources. Despite this turn of events, Nala managed to find their knight in shining armor, the lost prince of the Pride Lands. Once Simba returns, the prince orders the villainous tyrant to forfeit his title as king. However, Scar refused to resign. As a result, the pair engage in a brief skirmish to determine the true ruler of the Pride Lands. In the end, Simba managed to defeat his uncle in combat and knocks him off the ledge of Pride Rock. Eventually, Scar loses his life when the hyenas devour the fallen prince.
Once a proud ally of Baloo and Bagheera, Shere Khan was a Bengal tiger who lived in the Indian jungle. In his youth, Khan was an arrogant, egotistical cub who often found himself in trouble. As an adult, Khan became a vicious predator, striking fear in the hearts of animals, and developed a burning hatred for mankind. During the tiger's reign of terror, Bagheera discovers an orphan child floating in the river. After the panther delivers the infant to a pack of wolves, the group protects the child and raises him as their own. In the following years, Shere Khan learns of Mowgli's existence, which causes the family to discuss the young boy's fate. As a result, Bagheera volunteers to escort the miner to a village populated by humans. However, the stubborn boy refused his offer. Eventually, Mowgli encounters a snake named Kaa, who possessed the power of hypnotism. As the serpent attempts to execute Mowgli in his sleep, Bagheera managed to knock him into a tree branch and rescues the boy from captivity. After meeting Bagheera's ally Baloo, a group of monkeys abduct Mowgli and deliver him to their leader, an orangutan who calls himself King Louie. Once the man-cub is in his possession, Louie offers to grant Mowgli's wish if he reveals his secrets on how to produce a maelstrom of flames. The young boy subsequently agrees to assist him in his quest. However, Mowgli lacked the knowledge and the ability to conjure up a fire. As a result, Baloo rescues the man-cub with the aid of his friend Bagheera. Despite their intervention, Mowgli abandons his friends and stumbles upon a familiar enemy. After Mowgli encounters the serpent for a second time, Kaa manages to hypnotize the boy and wraps him in his coils. Due to the interference of Shere Khan, Mowgli regains consciousness and knocks the snake out of the tree. Once the man-cub discovers a flock of vultures in the wasteland, the tiger calmly approaches his adversary. Impressed by the young boy's courage, Shere Khan grants the child 10 seconds to run. However, Mowgli rejects his offer, refusing to leave the jungle. In a fit of rage, Shere Khan attacks the boy with his claws, but the tiger fails to kill the child when Baloo grabs him by the tail. As the tiger struggled to break free of his hold, the vultures carried Mowgli to safety. Khan loses his patience with Baloo and begins to maul the bear with his claws. After the tiger nearly beats his opponent to death, the vultures manage to distract Shere Khan while Mowgli tied a burning branch to his tail, humiliating his adversary. Not long after his defeat, Mowgli becomes restless with his life in the man village and eventually travels to the jungle. Once the tiger learns of Mowgli's escape, Khan pursues his arch-nemesis in order to quench his thirst for vengeance. Despite his best efforts, Shere Khan failed to locate Mowgli. After this turn of events, Khan managed to trick a vulture named Lucky into revealing the man-cub's location. As the predator continues to stalk his prey, he discovers Mowgli's friends and corners his comrades. Before Khan can murder the children in cold blood, Mowgli appears for their final confrontation. During the battle, Mowgli lures Khan into a temple surrounded by a pool of lava. In the end, Khan falls in the lava pit, becoming trapped inside the mouth of a giant statue.
Scar possessed a high level of intelligence, boasting a profound measure of skill in the art of manipulation, and proved he is the most cunning strategist amongst his peers. During his brother's reign, Scar managed to kill Mufasa after taking advantage of his son's innocence, and exploited his love for Simba. As a result, Scar became a narcissistic tyrant, ruling his kingdom with an iron fist. In combat, Scar relied on psychological warfare, undermining his opponent's morale with a series of diversionary tactics. Despite his claims of being weak, Scar displayed a decent measure of skill and managed to dominate his nephew in a fierce battle. As a lion, Scar possessed razor-sharp claws that are strong enough to rip through flesh. The villain also possessed some incredibly sharp fangs.
Often regarded as a vicious hunter, Shere Khan has displayed a remarkable measure of intelligence, intimidating animals with his strength and size to invoke his authority. Due to his reputation, the villain became an undisputed lord of the jungle. As a tiger, Shere Khan is an apex predator, using stealth to stalk his prey. Despite his calm and elegant demeanor, Khan was a ruthless killer, relying on brute force and animalistic aggression to overwhelm his opponents. The villain also possessed razor-sharp claws and incredibly sharp fangs, both of which are capable of tearing through flesh. In terms of weapons, both fighters have shown a similar level of skill with their claws and were capable of using their fangs efficiently. Based on their final battles, neither opponent has shown that they are more skilled than the other. Despite this, Khan possesses longer claws, which makes his paw swipes much more effective. In combat, Shere Khan is much more of a ruthless fighter who is willing to maul a bear in order to achieve his goal. However, Scar is clearly smarter and is fully prepared to use his environment to tip the scales in his favor. Despite the tiger's experience in battle, Khan is prone to arrogance and loves to play with opponents he perceives as weak. Due to this fundamental flaw, Scar would exploit his arrogance, which would ultimately give Scar a greater advantage. Although Shere Khan was able to defeat a bear in physical combat, Baloo hasn't shown any significant fighting skills. Aside from his showings of immense physical strength, Khan hasn't displayed anything more impressive than Scar. In contrast, Scar managed to dominate an opponent who was twice his size, utilizing misdirection combined with a superior level of skill. Although Simba lacked a sufficient measure of training, the lion proved himself to be a capable fighter and managed to rival his uncle's strength. As a result, Scar gets the edge for combat skills and weaponry. As a male African lion, Scar has a bite force of 1,000 pounds per square inch. Despite his claims of lacking comparable strength to his brother, Scar was strong enough to wrestle with his nephew in combat, and managed to dominate a majority of their battle, using his claws and fangs to overwhelm the young lion. On average, a paw swipe from a lion can deliver a force of up to 400 pounds, which is strong enough to kill a human with a single strike to the head. Much like his real-life counterparts, Scar is capable of reaching speeds in excess to 50 miles per hour, and was able to keep pace with his brother, who managed to rival the speed of a wildebeest herd. In his fight with Simba, Scar displayed a moderate level of agility, and was able to outmaneuver his nephew in combat. Scar possesses an admirable measure of durability. The villain managed to take hits from Simba, and endured a few strikes from his nephew's claws. The lion has also survived being thrown off a ledge and slamming against a thick, rocky surface. In his youth, Scar possessed an ability known as the Roar of the Elders. With this power, the lion was able to decimate his opponents with a powerful roar, creating a massive shockwave. As a male Bengal tiger, Shere Khan has acquired a bite force of 1,050 pounds per square inch. During his battle with the man cub named Mowgli, the villain managed to lift a bear from off his back and slammed it to the ground. Despite having his tail pulled by Baloo, Khan was still capable of running at full speed and knocked the bear out with his paws. On average, a paw swipe from a tiger can deliver a force of up to 4,000 to 10,000 pounds and is strong enough to crack the skull of a bull. Similar to his real-life counterparts, Shere Khan possesses an impressive measure of speed. On average, Bengal tigers are capable of reaching speeds in excess of 35 to 40 miles per hour. Despite his speed, Khan hasn't displayed any notable feats of agility. During his battle with Baloo, the tiger dominated his adversary in combat. However, he hasn't shown anything to suggest he is capable of outmaneuvering opponents on his level with a comparable measure of speed. As a tiger, Shere Khan possessed a massive amount of endurance. In his second battle against Mowgli, the villain was shoved to the ground by a large bear and managed to survive falling off a steep cliff. Shere Khan also possesses a strong will and is capable of resisting hypnosis. In strength, Scar displayed a decent amount of power, wrestling with a lion who was twice his size, and managed to knock Simba to the ground. He also possessed a bite that is strong enough to crush bones. However, Khan proved he is much stronger, lifting a bear who weighed more than 300 pounds with one paw, and possessed a superior bite force. The tiger also has a higher degree of attack potency with paw swipes that outclass anything Scar is capable of achieving. Although lions typically weigh more than a sloth bear, the reason Scar was able to dominate his fight with Simba was the result of his superior combat experience and reliance on deception rather than pure strength. When it comes to their speed and agility, Scar is 10 times faster than Shere Khan and much more agile. In terms of durability, both animals have displayed a remarkable measure of endurance. During his final battle with Scar, Simba managed to toss his uncle off the ledge of Pride Rock. Since the average height of a lion is about 4 feet tall, the height of the ledge is about 9 lions long, which gives us a total of 36 feet. This means Scar is capable of surviving a drop that's the equivalent of falling from a building that's more than 3.5 stories tall, in addition to slamming against thick rocks. In contrast, Shere Khan was shoved to the ground by Baloo and fell several feet into a lava pit. Since sloth bears typically weigh from 120 pounds to 310 pounds, and Baloo was most likely on the heavier side of the spectrum, this means Khan was able to sustain more than 300 pounds of concentrated force. Although it hasn't been established just how deep the pit is and lacks any reliable visual comparisons to measure the height of the ledge, my best guess would be somewhere between 40 to 50 feet. As for their X factors, the Roar of Elders would give Scar a massive advantage. However, he no longer possesses this ability in his arsenal. Although Shere Khan's immunity to hypnosis can be extremely useful in a battle, this ability is rendered useless since his opponent does not possess this power. Despite holding an advantage in speed and agility, Scar often leaves himself open in combat and has been countered by an opponent who lacked a great deal of skill. Although Scar possesses an extremely high measure of endurance, the lion hasn't shown any resistance towards counterattacks on the same level as his adversary. As a result, Shere Khan gets the edge in powers and abilities. In a battle to determine which animal reigns supreme, this match will be a contest of physical strength and endurance versus combat skills and strategy combined with speed and agility. This battle will take place in the Elephant Graveyard. There will be no prep time. As Scar travels from the Outlands, he is met with a sinister figure who threatens to take his kingdom by force. The fight begins when Scar tosses a pile of dirt in the tiger's eyes and proceeds to bite his adversary. Shere Khan backhand slaps the former prince with his paw. Thirsting for blood, Scar launches an assault, unleashing a flurry of palm strikes. Despite his best efforts, Khan shrugs off his attacks and begins to slice the lion with his claws. As his body drips with blood, Scar attempts to shove the tiger to the ground. However, Shere Khan managed to catch his arms and toss the lion into the mouth of a massive elephant corpse. Once the tiger enters the behemoth's mouth, Scar emerges from a pile of bones and bites him on his neck. In a fit of rage, Khan judo flips his enemy and mauls the lion to death. I declare Shere Khan, Lord of the Jungle, the victor. A match between tigers and lions are generally a contest of strength and ferocity. Despite Scar's intelligence and tactical advantages, Shere Khan's physical strength, combined with his higher level of endurance, is more than enough to overwhelm the scourge of the Pride Lands. Keep in mind, this is not a one-sided fight, and it's much closer than I initially thought. If this battle's outcome was determined by preparation, Scar would have won this matchup. But in a one-on-one engagement regarding physical combat, Shere Khan would eventually succeed.
Once regarded as a hero in her city, Shigo was a villain and former member of Team Go. As a child, Shigo and her brothers gained their powers after a multicolored meteor crashed inside their treehouse. After this event, Shigo gained the ability to manipulate green energy. Her eldest brother acquired superhuman strength. Miko.
After joining an expedition to Africa, William Cecil Clayton served as a guide and bodyguard to Professor Porter and his daughter Jane. As a result, Clayton appeared to be a chivalrous gentleman, using his experience as a hunter to protect the Porters on their journey. Once the trio began their search for gorillas in the African jungle, Jane wanders off and is pursued by a group of